What's up, YouTubers? This is Dirk coming at you with a vole video. If you're not familiar with what voles are, just look up on Google for spawn of Satan in your yard. Oh my gosh. I live in northern Utah and the snow is pretty deep this year. I did a separate power rake or dethatching video where I kind of showed this. But I filmed that just the other day. I never know when I'm gonna actually post these videos that I record like right now. So you might actually see this video before you see the power raking one. But voles are herbivores. They will eat grass that has snow on top of it during the winter, as well as the roots. They will tunnel. They're like moles, but they look like mice. They will tunnel. They'll eat your tree roots and your shrub roots. Like I said, spawn of Satan, okay? They reproduce very quickly, so you'll have hundreds of them in tunnels around your yard and living in the retaining wall rocks, and they just destroy your yard. Just living underneath the snow, and then as the snow melts, you see all the damage. So what you see before you here is $78 worth of PVC, all thread and some hardware at Lowe's. So this is enough for 3 traps. Okay, so the basic premise of this is I'm going to be cutting off 1 foot sections that are going to go on this side of the PVC, and then a predetermined length that's going to stick out of the top. This is all dry fit. Okay, and you have a threaded end cap, and I'm going to drill a hole through it with the all thread right here. Worthy to note, this is first generation rodenticide or poison. If a hawk or an owl or something were to eat a dead mouse, this wouldn't kill the hawk. Again, just a closer snapshot, Ramic mini bars. That is the active ingredient. Right, these come pre-drilled, but they have to be a little bit bigger because it doesn't quite fit that all thread. It would be like smashing it through, and I want it to be a little bit more free to slide up and down the bar. 1 foot sections, this is 2-inch PVC, by the way. I have it marked in 1 foot sections, so I'm building 3 traps. Okay, 1 foot coming off, 1 foot coming off on all 3 sides, and then I have predetermined length out of this extra 6-foot piece here for the piece that comes out of the top. Once you put this threaded cap on, I'm going to be drilling through my actual cap, okay, and then putting, that's what I have here. Hold on here. Just let you see, acorn nuts, 1/4 inch by 20. Fender washers, 1/4 inch by 1 1/4. And wing nuts, stainless steel wing nuts, 1/4 inch by 20. Okay, so in theory, we drill through this. The all thread sticks up through it. Put the wing nut on to hold it up here. Goes all the way down. And you have a bunch of bait chunks sliding down this, held by a washer and a wing nut on the bottom. So it'll look like this, screwed on, of course, on this section right here. Okay, so in the middle of the winter, when this is all buried, all I have to do is unscrew the cap, pull it up, the all thread piece comes up. If there's no more bait on it, flip it upside down, take off the wing nut, slide more bait chunks on, tighten the wing nut, and put it back, all right? I'm just getting this started. There we go. Now I can come right here and finish it. It's going to take a lot longer than if you had a PVC saw. You'll see here in a second, it works just fine. Okay. Rinse and repeat. So put it at a 45-degree angle with the piece protruding out the furthest on the top so that it offers some rain protection. Okay, so cut all those, and then whatever height you want, okay, depending on where you're going to put it, it might be buried in 4 feet of snow, so you need a 4-foot length, but you just need to make sure that you have enough all thread, right, to cover whatever you're doing. Get it as close as you can and then grip it. Then you don't have to deburr anything. everything, and you have a miter saw as well, so that makes it nice and clean. Glue these up if you want, but they're really on there, right? So just make sure it's all oriented the same. A little tappy tap. And I'm just gonna keep on cutting. I'm gonna take a break because I am type A and OCD and shop back this mess up here. If you want to make sure that it's fully seated, you can look down and see right there and right there that it's all the way in. Take whatever length of pipe you want and hammer that all the way in. I don't know what size drill bit this is. It's going to be slightly bigger, right, than your all thread. And then you can't do this with one hand because I have to hold it, but just go through, make sure you put it on a piece of wood because it'll violently poke through once it's done. Then I'm going to cut this all thread thing. You know what to get. 1/4 inch, 26 foot all thread plated. Okay. A hacksaw would probably be best. An angle grinder is going to melt those threads as it cuts through it. The bait, you want the bait to be sitting, you know, here at the bottom, not all the way at the top. The bait needs to be sitting down so that the voles can come from both directions and chew it off. And then I'm going to use the same drill bit to drill through my bait, and then I'll wash it off. That way I just know it's going to slide down and they can't walk off with it, but it'll always, I don't want the bait to be stuck up in the PVC, unable to go down because it's not loose enough, right? I think I have a better solution to make sure that it all fits properly. By the way, when you put this through, and then you put the cap on, right there's, or the nut on the all thread, there's going to be a tiny gap around the all thread and the PVC where rain might go through, and then the water's of course just going to trickle all the way down the all thread, and you're going to have a soggy little stick of poison. Okay, so I just happen to have these little washers on my shop. Of course, you could just do it all up and put like some silicone caulk on there too, whatever. So I'm just, for right now, just going to put this little washer on here, and then I'll probably silicone caulk that. Okay, so there's at least something covering that hole. From here, okay, this is going to be all the way on, right? But you can, what I'm trying to do is say, okay, if this cap were all the way on, then I want it, I grab my Sharpie. I measure twice, cut once. With it being dry fit, you should be able to still pound, obviously plan on pounding this threaded cap all the way onto the PVC. And then of course, this doesn't thread on a lot. Once it's on, you can really crank it down, but it's perfectly fine like that. So I'm going to align, right, this under edge of the lip with the top of the PVC, pull the all thread down, and then I know that I want the, I know I want the bottom of it to be, kind of hanging in there, right? So I've got it marked right there. I'll show you this in a second. Let me just double check. Let this work all the way down. Yeah, that's enough for them to kind of walk through and see where they're going. The bottom, of course, would be right there. So maybe I'll end up cutting, I don't know, a little bit lower, but I don't want it touching the very bottom. I want it coming off because I have a wing nut, right? So the wing nut gives me, that wing nut's going to be like that. And then it's also, if any water does get in, it goes through and it doesn't make it all soggy. So I just don't want it up here, right? So I'm going to cut it now to size for all of them, and we'll go to that point. Okay, those two are done. I'm going to just show you, obviously, take off the washer and wing nut, and then it's a lot easier with two hands, but the point of drilling out this entire bag is so that, as I look through my phone here, so it goes on really easily. I'm not looking through a phone. My goal is to not have to go out there all the time, every week or so, and check these, right? So
I filled it up. You could probably put one more on there. Doesn't matter. Okay, and then put that wing nut on there, just that much. Now, all right, that's what you want. You want it to be able to freely move like that, so as they eat that bottom one, it drops down. And then, and I'm only doing it again till it stops, and then barely that much more. And you can see there's that one where the wing nut was close, but it's still free. It's not an exact science, and those two are basically both that height. I guarantee you, a vole with that tiny little mouth is still gonna chomp on it. Okay, now once you put it in the ground, obviously if you put it up against your house, that's fine until it falls down. If you put it out in the field, just get like a little metal strap with some stakes maybe, and just, I would put it on 2 locations just to keep it up in the air. But yeah, hopefully you guys learn how to kill some voles. Oh, I drilled all these out in the bucket and then poured all the, shavings, if you will, into this. That's gonna be like my little chum station that I pour on the edges of each of those to try to attract them, but definitely that is poison, so I'll label it as such. Yeah, hopefully you all have success with your homemade vole stations. Happy killing. Peace.